We're going to transition to Jim's story about Poweliks, which was not on this list. However, I have noticed that Poweliks is a new family that I'm not really super familiar with, so hopefully Jim can fill us in. But it seems like it's kind of taken root over the past month here or so. I'm seeing a lot more infections of this particular family. So you want to give us the skinny on that one, Jim?
Yeah, it's the Poweliks has actually been around for at least half a year. The first write-ups that I remember seeing about it were like August or something of last year. I think Trend Micro had a couple of write-ups about it. Poweliks is a new family of malware that hides in the Windows registry. So there's nothing to find. There's no separate executable on the disk anyplace to find. And I think we've mentioned these types of malware in the past. But what this one does is it uses what was new to me anyway, a relatively unique auto start mechanism. It hides its code in one registry key and then uses CLSID key to actually execute it. It runs JavaScript, and the malware is JavaScript that's hidden in the registry key. So it's kind of an interesting new trend that we're seeing with the malware. And as I said, it's been in the press on and off for a few months, but I hadn't really paid a whole lot of attention to it. I've noticed on some of the lists I'm on, people have started talking about it more in the last month or so. And as you said, we're seeing evidence of infections, appear to be ramping up, at least in what we've got visibility to in the last month or so. So Corey Harrell had a nice article on his blog, The Journey into Incident Response, which is one that I read regularly, and I highly recommend it, actually, if you folks are interested in incident response and digital forensics. He's a good guy to follow. And he did a blog post this past weekend, trying to see what artifacts he could find, what evidence he could find, how he could tell if systems in his enterprise were infected. And so it's a really good article that goes through. You'll see he goes through the prefetch files that he finds, and doing some memory analysis to figure out. Basically, this one uses a DLL host and injects the malicious code into an instance of DLL host. So if you're looking at the processes running on your Windows system, what you'll see is DLL host. And this one will be doing a lot of outbound network connections. The key indicator that he found that was most useful for discovering if you've got systems that are infected was in the registry with the run DLL32 executing JavaScript and the run HTML application. So that's a string that you can look for in your registry to potentially find infected machines. But it's an interesting new family. As I said, I haven't really spent a whole lot of time looking into it, but now that we're seeing more evidence of infections, it's one that I will probably spend some time this week looking at.
Do you have any, I didn't get a chance to read the article, but did they mention what the intent of this family of malware is after? Is it crimeware, or is it, Bitcoin mining, or some other type of thing going on with it?
The couple that I've looked at are mostly looking for how you can tell if you're infected, and they tell me there is network traffic, but I don't actually remember any of them saying what it was that they were after.
Okay, well, it definitely bears some more investigation because, like I said, and I think we've all kind of observed. I think there might have been, and I haven't gotten to the root cause of this, but there might have been some kind of spam run that went through and swept up a bunch of victims around the middle of December, right before the holidays. And I've noticed an increase in Poweliks infections. I don't know if that's just what I'm saying is what actually happened, or if it's just that we have better detections than we had before. It's hard to say. But definitely seeing Poweliks showing up on the radar a lot more in the past month. So definitely one to keep an eye on. And I would imagine other people out there watching the program are struggling in their enterprises, looking into trying to figure out how to get rid of this type of malware off of those machines.
Right, because what I have seen in the articles that I've looked at is, when they check in with the command and control, the normal, this is the OS and the malware version, the build date, that kind of stuff. But I haven't seen exactly what it is that they then do once once the controller has control of all of these infected machines. So,
All right.
and cleaning it up can be a trick because sometimes they're using what Trend called a null registry value to hide it, and the null registries are hard to delete.
Yeah, I think they're hard to find too, if I remember right. Like if you look at them in
It can be
regedit.
hard to find, especially on the system. The malware actually protects itself against folks on the system finding it. One of the articles that I was looking at actually suggested the best way to find it is to connect remotely with something like Encase or one of those forensic tools, because they hide themselves from the users on the local system.
Mm-hmm. All right, interesting one, and hopefully we'll find out some more information about how it works in a little more detail and what the intent is behind it. Hopefully it doesn't become a bigger problem than it already is. But a good article. I did take a quick look at it. The article you mentioned here by Corey Harrell, very detailed, in depth. So I'd recommend people check it out. If you're interested
the other
in that.
one, the other one that I recommend is the November write up from Trend Micro on the auto start mechanism and how it works.
Okay.
That's also a good one, and it talks about how to go about removing it. But yeah, this is certainly one that we'll be keeping our eyes on for the next few weeks, and we'll probably, once we have a better understanding of it, we may come back and talk about it on the program again.